Ladies and gentlemen, the time has finally come. I've been thinking about this video for a while now, and it's long overdue. We are going to talk about 9 third-party Nintendo Switch ports. Now you might be asking me, why isn't it just 9 Nintendo Switch games? You know Doom 2016 runs amazing on the Switch. You know Breath of the Wild is amazing. We all know that. You know that you can play Skyrim handheld. But what about everything else? And you know the first party lineup is amazing. You don't need me to tell you that. And also there's a million other YouTubers that are going on and on about that. But here, I like to talk about some games that might be a little bit off the radar. So that's what this video is about. So these are just kind of like brief summaries of my experiences with the game. I'm going to go through explaining like what type of performance the game gives. And I'm also going to talk about, do I find the game fun? Do I find it compelling? Is it worth it? But I think this is important because, as most of you are aware, the Switch is still selling well. So it makes sense, like if you're a third-party company, to get your game on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, there should have been 10 games instead of 9, but we're missing one. It would be great if like there was a Genshin Impact. And how long ago was this supposed to come out? I mean, for real, like, what are you doing? Why are you here? Like, you should be helping them work on the game. What are you doing? Forget it. You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't want the Switch version of Genshin Impact. I mean, I was playing for a little while on the PlayStation 4 version, and it was stuttering and dipping like crazy. So, you know, we're good. I'll forgive you this time because it looks good on PlayStation 5. I'm not going to even front. Before we get into the video, I just want to say that I am fully aware that I've gained quite a bit of subscribers lately from the Xbox All Access video, and people are still checking out Space Runaway Ideon. That really means a lot to me, guys, and I just want you to know that I see that. I appreciate it. We're close to 200 subs. I know for some people, they're like, you know, that's really a small number, but for me, it means a lot. You know, I've been doing this for 3 years, and I can see in the background, I can see in the details that there's been growth, there's momentum with the channel, and it just feels really good. And all the feedback I've been getting from people, all the comments, it's really cool. It's really cool. But anyways, you've heard me go on and on. Let's get right into the video. So I want you to know that these are brief summaries of each game. These are not full-fledged reviews, but I just want you to get an idea of, did I find the game fun, and how does it perform on the Switch? I think these are very important questions when it comes to games that are ported over to the Switch. I wanted to start this video off right, so we are going to talk about Atelier Lulua, the Scion of Arland. I always wanted to try this series out when I first saw them on the PlayStation 3. So I have to say that this is a game that came out on PlayStation 4, the Switch, and PC in 2019. The Switch port actually holds up pretty well, whether it's in handheld mode or docked. This is actually the game right before Miss Ryza. Hey! Lulua is a vivacious young woman that comes from a small town upbringing. With that in mind, she dreams of one day surpassing her mother, Rorona, in alchemy. To push her even further in this direction, she stumbles across a magic book that conveniently only she can read. As the story progresses further, the book actually gives her hints and clues whenever you are unsure how to progress further in the game. It's a simple yet useful game device. The whole mechanics of being an alchemist and crafting items is actually quite entertaining in my opinion. I also really like the voice acting in this game. It's really solid. The combat is standard turn-based affair. Obviously, some people aren't going to care for this, but I am a sucker for this style of combat. From what I've experienced so far, the story and characters seem to be engaging enough that I'm gonna have to finish this game. In fact, I think I will definitely be checking out more Atelier games in the future. Next, we're going to talk about Blair Witch. This game was made by Bloober Team, the same developer behind Layers of Fear and The Medium. It actually takes place 2 years after the events of the original Blair Witch project. You take control of a former police officer, Ellis Lynch, that is trying to find a missing boy. This is actually a good game, but just look at these top tier graphics. This looks like it's running on an N64. I understand you might have to scale things back for the sake of performance, but this is too much. And please don't ask me, does it look better in handheld mode? No. It actually looks bad no matter how you play it. Well, I will give them this. At least they're consistent. I can roll with that. Bear in mind, the game is not bad. Let me repeat that. The game is not bad. This version of the game is, however. It's even more jarring when you go to like a cutscene, which looks really good and looks like it's from an Xbox One or PlayStation 4, and then you jump back to this 320p madness. I personally would recommend skipping this port and playing it on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or PC. Persona 5 Strikers. You already know what time it is. You know what time it is. Okay, I need to calm down. Okay, I need to relax. But seriously, man, I am kind of a rabid Persona Shin Megami fanboy. And I know Persona is getting popular and more popular by the day. But still, for some people, they didn't exactly jump for this as opposed to if it would have been the original Persona 5 game. So what you're getting is a spin-off action game with the same characters from Persona 5. As I stated in other videos, I would have loved if they would have kept it turn-based, but they decided to make it real-time and a little bit flashier. If you're wondering if the story bits are good, I would say it feels like this is a direct continuation of where the original game left off. I only recommend this to people who have played Persona 5. It would be weird to play this game and not be familiar with the characters. So yes, I think the game is awesome, as well as this is a very solid port. Persona 5 fans will not be disappointed. Well, I mean, they are disappointed, but that's only because the original game is not on the Switch. But you know, you can't win them all. Get it together, Atlas. Deathmark is the first horror/creepy game I played on the Switch. It was like the 4th game I purchased. It's a light novel about a person that has an amnesia moment and wakes up in front of a huge mansion. He then finds a woman upstairs that was brutally murdered. He realizes this person and himself both have this mark that looks like a tattoo on his wrist. Over time, the mark will react and burn when a dangerous spirit is nearby. And of course, being that it is reacting to evil spirits, one would assume this must have been placed by an evil spirit. So you start your adventure trying to exorcise any evil spirit your mark reacts to. That way you can exorcise the spirit that has cursed you. I have to say the art and concept behind some of these spirits are sick. Very cool stuff. He also discovers a doll that talks within the mansion, and I do not approve of this whatsoever. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't care if you have a doll in a dress and you try to make it look cute and adorable and she's polite and she has manners and she's helping me through the game. I don't care. I don't trust her. That's what it is. I don't trust her. Anyways, all joking aside, I highly recommend this game. I had a lot of fun. If you like visual novels and you like horror games, you're going to be down for this. Not only that, I'm pretty sure by now you can get it for half the price, maybe even a third of the price, and it's totally worth it. So before I go to the next game, I want to make this understood. And if you've been watching the channel a while, you might have a hint or glimpse of this, but I've never openly stated this. But yes, when it comes to games that interest me, that's what I want to talk about. When it comes to games that blew my mind, that's what I want to talk about. I'm not one of these edgelords that want to talk about games that are terrible and then trash and dunk on them. That just seems like a waste of time. However, if it was a game I was anticipating, it was a game I was looking forward to, and it turns out to be absolute trash, I mean, that's fair game. Because it was something I was looking forward to. It wasn't something I was looking forward to dunking on or anything like that. It was something I thought that was going to be awesome. So without further ado, let's talk about Hollow. Didn't like it. I thought I would since it had Dead Space vibes and has a creepy soundscape and it told me to wear headphones. Whenever games tell you to wear headphones, you know they're the business. Wrong. So to be completely fair, this is a very disappointing bare bones port, worse than the Blair Witch game. This game is also on PC and seems to perform much better and look much better. But this port is so bad that when I saw the flaws in enemy designs and story, I was over it. I was done. I had bought this game on sale for $2.99 and I wanted my money back because I am not getting my time back. I played about 5 hours of this and that was enough. Even if it's amazing on PC, I really don't care. I'm not interested in playing a better version of this. The moment is gone. Not to mention the game would freeze for 5 seconds in between frames when the game was overwhelmed. Do you see how long the screen can freeze at times? It's unacceptable. The ambiance and sound design are good, but the sound effects are terrible. Yeah, don't ask me what that was. I don't know. Who cares? The designs of the enemies are mixed. Some look terrifying, others just look odd. I think in regards to games, I can be very forgiving because I understand a lot of work goes into making even mediocre games, but I did not enjoy my time with this one. Dying Light. This is a very recent release of an almost decade-old game. But just like The Witcher 3, miracles were made to cram all this goodness onto a tiny, little-ass Nintendo Switch cartridge. You are an undercover agent, Kyle Crane, sent to a Middle Eastern city, Haran, to infiltrate a quarantine zone during the zombie apocalypse. While the game had to make sacrifices to run on the Switch, the game still manages to look decent. The game runs at a stable 30 frames per second for the most part. It does dip below that, but it looks pretty good, surprisingly. And every last DLC released on the last gen version is jam-packed into this version. It is incredible. Yeah, it doesn't look as pretty as the PlayStation 4 Xbox One version, but it is a technical marvel that one of my favorite games from last gen, I can finally play handheld. Yomowari: The Long Night Collection. This was the third horror/creepy game I played on the Switch. It comes with 2 games, the original game Yomowari: Night Alone, and its sequel Yomowari: Midnight Shadows. This story starts with you walking your dog and then something quote-unquote happens. Now, while I do feel pretty confident in what I saw in the first 5 minutes, the game makes you second guess this, along with the main character. So she comes home to tell her sister, hey, the dog just, I don't know, it's gone. I'm not laughing. I'm really not laughing. It's not funny. Okay, so then the sister's like, oh, okay, well, let me go find the dog. And now the sister's missing. So now this poor little girl has no choice but to find her lost dog and her sister. But once she returns outside, the vibe is way different. We are talking about evil spirits, demons, robots, aliens, things I'm not even sure what the hell they are, but they just look creepy. This game has you play as a pint-sized chibi character, but it's definitely creepy. The way the game incorporates hide mechanics as well as a stamina bar adds even more tension to the game. This is another solid title that really captivated me. I still need to finish this, but there is no denying that the game is awesome. I will say there are moments it can feel challenging since you can only save at home. Just remember the statues are quick saves if you should die, and only for that. In order to save progress in the game and then quit, you need to use the statue to teleport home and then you can save. Something I learned the hard way. Okay, that was unexpected. I think it's trying to trick me. I think it's trying to trick me, so we're just gonna... Ah! All right. What was I thinking? That was so dumb. I don't know why it did that. What's wrong with me? Mechanica. This is a game that was a random purchase for me. You play as a very young Nika Allen that is an elementary school prodigy. She's angry, mad at her parents, mad at her teacher, mad at her city, mad at Optimus Prime. There's no telling. She's mad at everybody. Let's just say everybody. She is a very misunderstood child that wants to build a giant robot to destroy everything that is pointless to her. It plays like a visual novel where you have to figure a few mini puzzles or challenges in order to progress further in the game. There's no dying by an enemy boss or anything like that. It's more about asking people the right questions or trading the right items. So it is definitely on the easy side in terms of challenge. This is definitely not a game for kids. It kind of has that South Park passive aggressive, I don't fit in, I hate high school, I hate suburbia America vibe. So if that is your energy, you will enjoy this. For me, I like the art style. I think it's adorable, but keep in mind they're juxtaposing it kind of like South Park with crude, tacky, late teens humor. I'm not dissing on the game, by the way. In fact, I finished it. Granted, it is relatively short. The humor and vibe was a hit and miss for me, honestly. Sometimes I thought it was funny, but then other times it was just a little too zany for me. But I got to a point where I just wanted to know what was going to happen next in the story. I even bought the game that came out before this because the sleep-deprived goth friend is the main character. She is kind of weird and has issues, but I found her somewhat entertaining. With that being said, this is a game that would be hard to recommend to anyone. I think if the style of humor is your thing, you will probably enjoy this, but I suppose you would also have to be into visual novels, which those two combinations might be what makes this a hard sell. So I felt like it would be quite fitting for me to end this video with none other than Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water. Because of the recent remaster, I have two additional versions of this game. One of the versions is the digital Nintendo Switch version. So for people that aren't familiar with the story of this game, it takes place on a fictional mountain known as Hikami. This place has a reputation of suicides and spiritual sightings. In the past, the Shrine Maidens would help people that desired a quote-unquote peaceful death. In time, the Shrine Maidens would become unstable due to dealing with so many distressed individuals. Eventually, they would have to be sacrificed as an eternal flower to keep the negative energy from manifesting. Now, I have been on record stating that this is not the best Fatal Frame game, but I have also stated that there is not a bad main entry game yet. So this is a very solid game. If you compare this to the original trilogy, you will probably think this game looks better, but the story is not better. As far as performance, I want to be fair here even as a big Fatal Frame fan. This runs almost the same as the Wii U version. That is if you play it in handheld mode. If you play it in dock mode, it seems that there are some frame dips for whatever reason, and there is also occasional stutter. I want to add that the Wii U had some weird frame rate moments as well. Sometimes the game would go above 30 frames per second and then dip back down to 30, which was just annoying. It didn't happen a lot, but I still have to point it out. The weird thing is that this and Yomowari are the two games I have played mostly in handheld mode. Handheld mode for Maiden of Blackwater seems to be more stable than the dock version. Maybe these sporadic dips can be fixed in a future patch, I don't know. In conclusion, I would still recommend this version of the game. I am so glad more people are getting a chance to check it out. So there you have it, 9 Nintendo Switch ports that you can check out right now. Most of them are good, some are excellent. Some might be bad ports, but the game is good, and then we have one potential bad game all around. But I'll leave that to you to decide, but at least you have some idea of these games. Maybe you've heard of them and you never tried them, and now you have an idea of what they're about and how they perform. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know how I'm doing in the comment section. I had a blast making this video, and I intend to already make a sequel to it. But if this video or the second video do really well, I'll even make a third one. And as always, I appreciate all of your support. Take care, have a good day. I will see you next time.